Hello, David.
Hi,
Thanks
Sue.
for joining me today. So our focus in this short little video is on the importance of industry knowledge for salespeople, particularly in those global technology organizations. Could I start by asking you for a brief introduction?
Absolutely. Yeah, thanks again for the opportunity. I have a long banking and technology career. Very briefly, I've worked in banking, innovation, and fintech for nearly 20 years. In fact, I did some of my earliest work in the bank around innovating around sales teams and how they work better within a banking world. After leaving the bank after 10 years, I started up a company called Matchy, which was focused on banking and fintech partnerships back in 2013. That, in fact, was one of the earliest platforms like this, and we were fortunate. We grew that to cover over 7,000 fintech firms globally. We worked with over 130 financial services players, banks, insurance companies, and capital markets players in 35 countries in all major global regions. I sold the company to KPMG International early in 2017 and joined their global fintech practice and worked with their offices around the world for the next few years as part of their global practice on financial services. I started my current firm, Ulysses Partners, with some other associates early in 2020, and we're focused on our clients taking advantage of the incredible changes that are happening in banking and technology in the last few years. While the pandemic has accelerated those shifts, in fact, they'd been happening for some time before, building up steam, in particular around open banking and embedded finance. And these trends are opening up opportunities in financial services and in other industries for firms that understand the technologies and the business models that are being created.
David, that's a fascinating background and one which was really useful over the last few months as we've been working together to develop a series of webinars to educate sales team members, especially those working for global technology providers, to equip them to have a deeper understanding of their customers' industry. So they're better equipped to talk about and understand the trends, priorities, and challenges that their customers face on a daily basis. So the customer doesn't have to educate them. It's a sad fact that today's average business-to-business salesperson is still far more comfortable talking about their products and technology than they are discussing business issues, business knowledge, and challenges. However, the average buyer regards a salesperson's relevant business knowledge as being far more valuable than their ability to regurgitate product features, functions, benefits. And this terrible mismatch has profound consequences. It should be no surprise that on average, 87% of the revenues in complex B2B sales environments are being generated by just 13% of the sales population. So needless to say, the gap between the best and the rest is far narrower in the best-in-class sales organizations. What do you think, David, sets these top performing organizations apart?
So I think it's a really good question, Sue. And if I think back on it, I mean, many large corporations deal with other large companies when they're sourcing products and services. And that's driven by many factors: risk aversion, and the ability of suppliers to deliver at scale. And that's especially true financial services, who typically will say buy their technology from the biggest IT providers. But while that makes sense in some contexts, in other ways it creates its own set of problems, because the largest organizations often have this sort of huge matrix type structure with geographic, product, functional areas. And while they'll have some industry knowledge spread across the organization, or even sort of pockets of expertise, many of their sales teams and their broader staff just don't understand their clients' industries in any depth. So as a result, there's a lot of missed opportunity for better client conversations, and which in turn lead to better sales. So this is especially true with the large IT providers in my experience, and their financial services clients, which is of course what you came across working with your client. So yeah, I guess what we've seen is that IT provider teams are often very product centric. They're focused on sort of talking about their solutions and the technical specifications, but they often don't have the broader context in which their clients and the executives and their contacts within their client organizations operate. And without this, it impacts their ability to deliver and to really create business value and have better business outcomes. How do they move from being order takers to being business partners? So I guess that was the opportunity that you highlighted, and it's been great to work with you and the team at Exceed over the past few months to design, develop, and deliver these global financial services knowledge sessions for one of your global technology clients. So the sessions covered capital markets, banking, and insurance, and it was great to build insights into each of these sectors around the business models, their key trends, and the big challenges that face each of the sectors. And the sessions created a lot of insight for the client team members. It showed them how to apply this knowledge about the industry when having conversations with their customers. It was super to deliver these sessions around the world. So we had multiple sessions to the client-facing teams in Europe, Asia, and the USA. And the feedback was very positive. It was a good experience for all concerned. So ultimately, I think the project shows that there's a big need to help people in technology firms and other large companies to understand their clients' markets, especially financial services, and to make sure that fascination of the particular technology doesn't obscure their understanding of the value drivers, business models, and trends that are shaping the decisions of the executives that they work with. And we think that there's a lot of opportunity to do this in many places to unlock business value for all players.
Yes, and just going back on a couple of comments you made there, David, just before we close off, I think one of the key takeaways for the folks who are watching the webinars was that it wasn't just this is the industry knowledge, it was here's how you apply it. Here's how you can go into a customer meeting and dramatically improve the outcomes from that meeting. The second point I'd stress is, of course, that we've been talking throughout these industry knowledge sessions about the importance of technology companies really working with their customers to drive business outcomes which are intentionally agreed before the project kicks off. So thank you so much. We're going to be continuing working with you next year as we go deeper dive into other topics, as well as looking at other industries. Manufacturing, telco, retail are all in the pipeline as we move forward, and of course healthcare as well. Many thanks, David. Been a pleasure. I look forward to working with you next year. Thank you.
Thank you too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.